Hey guys, here with another video on our clownfish breeding series. So, um, another question I get asked is water changes. How frequent am I doing them? How often am I doing them? What's my method? What's in my sump? And all those types of things. So, pretty much what I do is weekly. I do about 5 gallons, nothing too much. And then monthly is where I kind of drain. I pull each one of these things and I pull them and I drain the water pretty much all the way. If there's eggs, I don't try to pass the water, obviously. If there's eggs, like sometimes these guys lay a little bit on the higher side. So if I pull this, then the eggs would be exposed to water. Um, so I would just kind of drain it manually. But if like these guys like to lay on the floor or just kind of bottom right corner, I can pull this. And yes, it's okay to do water changes during lays and hatches and stuff like that, or if there's eggs in the tank. Obviously, what you want to avoid is don't drain the water past whatever eggs. Like my other pair that are just regular ocellaris, they like to lay on the top right corner, so that makes water changes hard on their part. Just because I can't really drain, like I'll try to just vacuum out really quickly any you know extra food at the bottom, and then I'll just try not to expose the eggs. Um, Another thing, don't pour if depending what type of system you have. I have a sump, so I just pour the water into the sump. But if you're pouring into each tank or you have a different setup, never pour directly over the eggs. Um, always try to just siphon it in if you can, or pump it in, or anything. You never want to just like tilt, like let's say this is the bucket. You never want to just tilt it in, because all that pressure from the water movement moves everything around, gets a ton of dirt and detritus on the eggs, and then you're left with pretty much a bad batch because, yeah, the clowns will clean as much as they can, but the pressure from the water will pretty much make any eggs, unstick from the tile or wherever they're laid. And, that's not good. So, always, if you have a sump, pour it into the sump. Or if you don't have a sump and you have to put it into the main tank because you have a hang on filter or, a hang on back refugium, whatever it is, just try to either pump it in or, you know, avoid all costs of just having to pour it. Even if you got to do it cup by cup, that's a lot better than just shoving 5 gallons in. So, here, obviously, when you feed as much as I do, you're gonna start getting algae. You're gonna start getting things all over the floor, like leftover pellets, leftover like brine and mices around, like obviously around the tiles. Um, right now the pump is off just to kind of let everything settle. I am gonna feed a little bit just to show you. Like I buy sinking pellets as well as the TDO, and that just helps a little bit because it doesn't float into the refugium and well, not refugium, into the sump, and it will settle to the bottom, so if they want to pick at it a little bit later, it's fine. See, like on the snowflake pair, like they didn't grab all the pellets as they hit, so they'll just kind of go around looking for more food, which again helps. So as I was saying, you know weekly water changes are always ideal. Little 5 gallon, nothing crazy. I always have a bucket the day before ready because again I pre-mix my salt. And it's better that way just because you know, you don't want to leave tons of food all over the floor for a month when you do your regular water changes. So monthly water changes are good, and it helps with weekly. So as you can see here, and I get a little algae build up around here, and especially on this tank for some reason. Um, I guess this has the most light compared to the other tanks. So this one gets covered with algae on the front. Nothing too bad again because I do it every week. I let I'll clean the glass, I'll let the water settle, and then after the water settles, because I have the pump off, I vacuum out the bottom, just get out any chunks that they have left behind. As you can see, the mama snowflake here is looking for food still at the bottom. And that pretty much, that keeps your levels in check, and it helps with cleanliness and water quality. Water quality is your best friend when it comes to breeding. You don't want to have your phosphates too high, your nitrates too high, because any little thing can pretty much bother the clowns and stop them from breeding. Water quality is very important, and you don't want to let it go out of control. Bad water leads to bad eggs, bad clutches, bad fry. Not well nutritioned clowns. Don't produce the best eggs. Variety of food. It helps prevent diseases from spreading. Even though if you never expose these to new fish, and you don't really have an ick breakout just because there's no new fish. And again, I keep this water isolated. Nothing touches this water that shouldn't. I don't put any coral or any rock or anything live that could possibly harm my parents. So this video is pretty short. I'm just gonna show you kind of the vacuuming part, and just the kind of what I do. Just to make the video short, I'm pretty much gonna fast forward the next part. But again, I'm gonna just take off the egg crate, which prevents them from jumping out of the tank. I'm gonna clean the glass, vacuum out a little bit the bottom, and just pour some new water. All right. Alright, that was probably less than 10 minutes, kind of cleaning out the 6 tanks. Again, it's nothing too big, it's only the weekly water change. I'll do a separate video for the monthly water change, which I'll show you more in depth of all the things I change every month, like my XPORT PO3 and my PO4 and NO3 cubes, which are they really help with the nitrates and the phosphates. But as far as weekly, there's not really too much I do down here. I do clean out the protein skimmer just when it starts to get, it's not full, but if you take care of it every week, it doesn't start to build up in here and here. So that helps too. But as far as the system, again, the main 6 tanks connect to this pipe right here in the back. They trickle down into here, into there. Here I just got a bunch of bio balls. Then this green thing is a phosphate pad, which I do on my monthly water change. This is my reef octopus skimmer. In the back right here is my heater. It's rated for like 100 gallons, so it's more than enough for this system. And then you can't really see it, but right here in between this little area between the protein and the heater is a deep blue UV sterilizer, 100 gallon. Again, more than enough for the tank. I can see the light. You can't really see it, but I can see it from this angle coming down, so I know when to change it or not. And then we just go into a sponge filter, and then back here is where I have my sometimes I'll do ChemiPure and XPORT. Sometimes I'll just do XPORT. Depends on what I have, like, you know, available at the time. And you know, here's just my main pump. So nothing, you know, super fancy. I do wish I could do a refugium, but by the space that I had, I needed to focus more on, you know, trying to get this big stuff to handle the tank. Because again, if I got stuff rated for my tank, then it'd be a lot smaller equipment. But because I overdid it, you know, really big strong pump, really 300 gallon protein skimmer, you know, I didn't want my levels just to go up and down all the time. I wanted like my equipment to do more than what was needed. So that's important, because again, you are going to be feeding a lot of food, and by a lot of food, you know, your phosphates, your nitrates are the first things affected by it. And so you got to stay on top of it. Don't buy equipment that, you know, if you got a 50-gallon tank, don't buy equipment rated for a 50-gallon, because it's always better to go above what you're going to do, just because you don't want to, in the long run into like phosphate and spikes and stuff like that. Because again, all of this matters to the parents. So as you can see here, we pretty much drained it. Again, I'll do a video for monthly where I kind of, you know, take this out, take out my pad over there, the phosphate pad, replace the XPORT. If you're not familiar with XPORT, I'll explain what that is in another video, well, the monthly water change video. And, you know, pretty much draining the tanks. You'll see me pulling the PVC and, you know, pretty much all that. So again, just to kind of summary, do weekly and monthly. You don't want to let the buildup happen over a month. Then you start getting a lot of spike levels. It's easier to do 5 or 10 gallons a week, and then, you know, a big water change at the end of the month. Keeps your fish nice and healthy, your parents loving the water, and, you know, loving the water quality. You can get away with feeding a lot of food, because this way you're scraping off the food from the bottom, you know, getting rid of as much detritus as possible in, you know, little 5 or 10 gallon, and then doing a big one. Keeps everything happy, keeps your tank going, and keeps your you know, fry nice and healthy. Alright guys, so here's another video. Again, weekly water changes, your best friend next to monthly water changes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You know, share with your friends. Remember, this channel started with, you know, I was happy when we were hitting 100 subscribers, and now we're in 1,100 subscribers. So I hope I am helping a lot of people. I do get a lot of, you know, great comments saying that I've, you know, persuaded people into breeding, and I'm very helpful. Again, I try to answer any question that I can. Don't feel afraid to ask. you know, I will do as best as I can possible. Again, I'm not a really great video guy, but I did buy a tripod because a lot of people were saying, shaky and hard to hear. So, I tried with the best what I can. So again, I do appreciate all you guys and gals who have subscribed and are, interested in my channel and interested in the work that I do. Again, working on my website to do, an e-commerce store of fish, so I can make it more available to everybody. And working on a lot of stuff now. I'm not no little small time guy anymore. All the local fish stores know me, and they're always loving my fish because I take care of them and I feed them the best I can. So if you take anything away from my series, just make sure water quality is your best. Feed different varieties of food. Don't just stick to pellet food and frozen brine. Like, feed variety. I feed mysis, brine, Pisces, TDO pellets, which are the Japanese food, regular pellets, sinking pellets, flakes. I feed everything that I possibly can think of under the sun to make these fry nice and happy and, really big clutches of eggs. And that's pretty much it. So again, I really do appreciate everybody and all my subscribers, and just keep on breathing. Also forgot to mention in the video, been working on something cool at work, some little decals of our logo. It's printed on 3M vinyl, and it has this little pre-mask layer. So pretty much when you start to peel it, the sticker will come off onto the pre-mask. And then wherever you want to install this, just start from the bottom, rub it in nice and even, and once you're done, you just peel the pre-mask off and you've got the logo. Pretty much I went ahead and I installed this one. It won't have a clear backing, so it'll just be the actual decal itself, but for demonstration purposes I just put it on this little piece of plastic just so you can see. And also too, this was a prototype and I made this a little bit darker, and I fixed a little bit of the cutting. So again, something I've been working on. This is the first round of them, so I only have 10 available. So what I'd like to do is send it to the first 10 people who are interested in getting one. Send me a message on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram privately. That way we can send you a sticker. My intentions are pretty much, I hope that you install the sticker somewhere and share the picture with us. I'd love to share the pictures of our subscribers on my next video. You can put this anywhere. You can put it on the glass of your display tank, your reef tank, put it on your breeding setup, put it on your bucket that you do water changes with, put it on the lid of your bucket, put it on your fish food that you make, put it anywhere it's a nice smooth area, kind of like this to work on. And again, share the picture with us. I'd love to see any setups you guys have, or if you're into breeding, and you watch my videos and I inspired you to start breeding, show me your breeding setup. Just tag us in the picture. Instagram is probably the easiest to tag each other and repost pictures. And again, I'd love to see what you guys are doing out there and breeding. And again, I only have 10, so the first 10 people to message me that they want a sticker will get the sticker. It's a sticker free of charge, free shipping. It's something cool I just want to do for you guys. Eventually, again, I want to make a lot more, so when I have my shop running, and insert little freebies in every order, like stickers, decals, thank you notes, possibilities are endless. But, here's a start, And again, if you want to be one of the first 10 people to own an Ecology sticker, send us a message. I do get a question about the logo and what it really means to me. So when I first started, our motto was down to a science. So when I thought of a DNA strand, how it has the double helix with the little bars, and I thought of that because it kind of looked like a fish if you cropped a certain part of it. So then, added little fins, bottom fin, and an eye, and then it became kind of our logo. And we've got I kind of saw a letter A here too for Ecology, which I thought was kind of cool. And then the same thing if you flip it sideways, it still looks like a fish, and then kind of looks like a clown now because it's got the 3 bars. Again, it's kind of like a little minimalistic approach on a fish, but I wanted something that could be done easily, and it's kind of cool looking in my opinion. And the little gradient of the orange of Clownfish. So that's pretty much the process behind the logo. Again, been working real hard on these to finally perfect the cut and the color in it. So again, if you are interested, send us a private message, and we'll feature you in our next video. All right. So enjoy the rest of your day and happy breeding.